Afghanistan President Ashraf Ghani is said to have declined to meet US Special Envoy Zalmay Khalilzad. The prisoner feud between the Taliban and the Afghan government is the likely reason behind Ghani's refusal to meet the US Special Envoy. Now, despite the latest round of confrontations between US forces and the Taliban, US Special Envoy for Afghanistan Zalmay Khalilzad said that Washington is committed to brokering a peace deal between Kabul and Taliban. He said, and I quote, US is committed to facilitating prisoner exchange agreed in both US-Taliban agreement and the US-Afghanistan joint declaration. We will support each side to release significant numbers, end quote. But Ghani has rejected that, saying that the release of prisoners was not a precondition to begin talks with the Taliban. Ghani was not present in Doha, where US and Taliban leaders signed a peace deal. The deal provides for the release of up to 5,000 Taliban prisoners in exchange for nearly 1,000 Afghan government captives. The Taliban wants the prisoners to be freed before peace talks, but Ghani is against it. Meanwhile, both United States and the Taliban have rejected claims of a secret agreement, saying that every document is out in the open. Yesterday, United States carried out airstrikes against Taliban after the group killed several Afghan security personnel in a series of attacks across Afghanistan. But United States officials have appeared to play down the Taliban attack. Also, in what could be a blow to the United States, senior judges at the International Criminal Court have authorized an investigation into alleged war crimes in Afghanistan. The investigation will examine the actions of US soldiers in Afghanistan. As of now, the Afghan-Taliban peace talks are hanging on tenterhooks. There are many moving parts threatening to derail the entire peace talks. We are joined by our Afghanistan correspondent, Mustafa Kazemi. Now, Mustafa, so with all the defiance going on around Afghanistan peace deal by the Afghanistan government, what must the world expect in the coming weeks?
Well, that is what worries the major Afghan population in Afghanistan. They're saying that a peace agreement has been reached with the Taliban, either by the United States or anybody else. But the point is that Taliban are supposed to end or put an end to their violence in Afghanistan, stop killing the civilians and blowing up places which cause casualties every single day, which we have over 35 attacks in the last 48 hours. The general population of Afghanistan just want peace, and with the fluidity of situation currently going on, they're growing more hopeless and are saying that this is going to create a sort of skeptic.
So what do the Afghan nationals think, and how do they look at the fluidity of the situation ongoing in Afghanistan right now? The president is defiant about releasing the prisoners, which is causing a damage to the health of the peace process. Is that the case?
The fluidity of the situation, as you mentioned, it is becoming worse and is worsening by the day, because the defiance on all sides of the deal, the Afghan government, the Taliban, and the United States is growing much higher. The Afghan government, the president refuses to release the 5,000 Taliban prisoners that it was said by the United States that they would release it. Saying that he is not aware and he does not have any guarantees for the release. And on the other side, the attacks against the Afghan security forces have increased since Saturday that the deal was signed with the United States in Doha on the grounds that there will be a full withdrawal of U.S. forces from Afghanistan and that the Taliban will reintegrate in Afghanistan. Afghan people, the civilians, have lost more than 10 of the society's members since the deal was signed with the United States, and that is what particularly making the Afghan people anxious since Saturday when the deal was signed. They're saying that we have signed a peace agreement, or the United States have signed a peace agreement with the Taliban, and they're not supposed to kill the civilians at least anymore. But the situation is growing worse and is fluid, and just the time will tell what will happen in the coming weeks. And we shall witness, and the Afghan people are only hoping and are trying to stay positive, which is difficult in this situation, to have an end to the violence that is going on as long as 20 years now.